A few months ago, I made a video on the short career of Manatreed, one of Dream's old friends from MCPvP, who Dream and his friends propped up as the next big content creator, only for Manatreed to supposedly be doxxed and exposed as a domestic abuser, prompting Manatreed to leave the internet. In that video, I go over the evidence that supposedly proved Manatreed, also known as Mana, was the person doxers claimed him to be. Long story short, the evidence is inconclusive, but I claim that it is more likely that the doxed person is Manatreed than him not being Manatreed. If you want to know how I came to that conclusion, go watch that video. However, many Dream SMP fans to this day believe that Manatreed was 100% no question framed or falsely accused by Dream antis and leaked Twitter, and are patiently waiting for the day that Mana makes his return to the internet, and this may have already happened. On May 11th of 2022, a Twitter account named Manatreed made a tweet that simply stated, "I'm back." This account used the display name of Manatreed, and the same profile picture and bio Mana used. Later that day, the account would make a thread titled, "Let's Talk." In the thread, New Mana denies the allegations levied against him, claiming that they cannot be true because his name is Ollie. He also claims that he left because he had a panic attack from being pressured by thousands of people to reveal his true identity to disprove the allegations. But now he is coming back because he realized that he still has thousands of fans and the hate has dumbed down substantially. He ended the thread by saying he was not sure when he wanted to officially return and that it may take some time. This account began to blow up, and Manatreed's thread received mixed responses from Dream SMP fans. Some people took what this account said at face value and welcomed him into the community with open arms. However, other people still believed the accusations and were more skeptical with welcoming Mana back into the community. And some people did not believe this was Mana at all and shamed him for supposedly being a fake account meant to troll people. Some people were sharing a screenshot that showed the Manatreed Twitter account posing as Dream and trying to do a fake merch giveaway. Whether this screenshot is real, however, I am not sure. In response to the backlash, Manatreed made a new thread. In it, he continues to deny the accusations, but again does not provide any proof disputing the allegations, simply asking for people to stop talking about them because it is what the victim wanted, which, to be fair, is true. He then says that the reason he is using the name Manatreed is because he could not get his old username back as someone else had taken it. He finishes off the thread by saying that he contacted Dream before he came back and said that Mana could return to content creation, but he would not be able to play on the Dream SMP or associate with Dream this time. This thread raised more questions than answers. Why did New Mana not address the fake screenshots? Why was he unable to provide any proof whatsoever that he is not the doxxed domestic abuser? Why does Dream not want to associate with him? Why are no other Dream SMPers following New Mana or interacting with him? A few days later, Manatreed made a third thread, this time attempting to win over his fans once and for all. The first thing Manatreed claimed was that he bought the Manatreed username from someone for a hefty price, which would explain why the account was previously used by a troll trying to fake Dream merch giveaways. However, all New Mana provides as evidence is a kinda censored screenshot of a monetary transaction, but you can clearly see that he supposedly paid $100 for the account. He then says that any previous tweets made by the account were from the old owner, and that he was unable to get in contact with the owner of the Manatreed Twitter username and buy it back. Finally, he shows screenshots of a conversation he allegedly had with Dream on Discord, where Dream gave him the go-ahead to come back, and I will let you pause the video so you can read them yourselves. This was the final thread Manatreed would make addressing controversy surrounding himself. Since then, he has continued to be somewhat active on Twitter, posting once every few weeks. His most recent tweet paid tribute to the death of Dream SMP or Technoblade, and received over 45,000 likes, 4 times as many as his previous most liked tweet. It is clear that Manatreed could actually start posting content and receive a substantial amount of viewers, even if he isn't Manatreed. However, is he Manatreed? The biggest piece of evidence against New Mana being Manatreed is the conversation he supposedly had with Dream. New Mana did not show any proof that this conversation actually happened with the real Dream. All we know for certain is that it happened with a guy whose username and profile matches Dream. People in the replies pointed out how Discord screenshots can be easily faked, and sure enough, it is likely these screenshots are faked too. Oftentimes, fake Discord screenshots will have a bunch of pixelation around the name and text of the users, while normal screenshots do not. An example is shown on screen now. And sure enough, you can see that there is a lot of pixelation around people's names and the text, which makes these screenshots look a lot more suspicious. Other Twitter users claim that the way Dream talked in this conversation does not sound like the way Dream normally talks, and to me this conversation as a whole sounds unnatural, especially the last screenshot. That one seems like it is set up in ARG. Now, let me get into the evidence for Manatreed being the real Manatreed. According to this anonymous Twitter user, the real Dream liked one of this account's tweets, showing that Dream knows about this account and supports it. Now, Dream has like 55 Twitter accounts, and is relatively active on all of them, so it might take me a while to go through all of his likes. Thankfully, we do not have to, as a day later, this person said, "Never mind, I was a Dream impersonator." Apparently, people pretend to be Dream SMP creators is a big problem on Twitter in general. Besides for that one tweet that ended up being false, there is not any proof that this account is the real Manatreed, other than the account claiming he is. As far as I can tell, none of the Dream SMP or Dream SMP associates have ever interacted with this account. Manatreed does not provide any new pictures of himself, so we can compare him to what we know the real Manatreed looks like. He has not streamed on Twitch yet, and he never had a YouTube or TikTok as far as I am aware, so we cannot use his other social media to prove this one is real. The only quote-unquote proof Manatreed has given that is supposed to confirm him as the real Manatreed is the DM conversation of Dream, but as I mentioned previously, these DMs are most likely faked. You can also try to think about this logically. Manatreed either was guilty of domestic abuse like doxers claimed he is, or he is not. If he is not guilty, then theoretically almost all the Dream SMP would be willing to support Manatreed for a return, since he never did anything wrong. Maybe some of them would not want to bother trying to help again, because it would be too much of a hassle, but for 0% of Mana's past friends who come out and support this new account is pretty weird. Then, there is the case that Manatreed is guilty of domestic abuse. In this case, 1. Dream SMP fans should not be supporting anybody claiming to be Manatreed. 2. It is very likely that one of the Dream SMPers would publicly call out Manatreed, because they probably know the truth. And 3. There is no way Dream and Mana would still be on good terms like Manatreed's DM conversation implies. As Dream's fans have pointed out 7,000 times, Dream is a victim of domestic abuse by a former girlfriend, and would almost certainly disassociate with any creator who has a history of abuse, even if it was one of his friends. However, none of these scenarios have happened, leading me to believe that this is just some random person pretending to be Manatreed for Twitter clout, and it just so happens that no one on the Dream SMP has caught on to this yet. I guess there is always like a 1% chance that this is Manatreed, and his return has just been handled really strangely. I used to claim that Dream had to have known that he cheated in his speedruns due to his very strange and suspicious actions after he was accused, but after a Carl Jost video on the situation came out, I now think Dream was just really stupid and acted strangely because he does not handle conflict very well. But I still think there is a blatant lack of evidence connecting this account to the real Mana, and there are a bunch of suspicious things that I've talked about today, and make it seem like this account is a fake, a phony, a fraud, and a fugazi. If there is anything to be learned from this minor footnote in Dream SMP history, it is that the Dream SMP has a serious identity theft problem. But this is kind of something most people already know. The real takeaway from this footnote is that there is a very big audience for a Manatreed comeback, which is kind of shocking. Usually, when a YouTuber or streamer is accused of accusations like the one Mana was accused of, their fans operate under a guilty until proven innocent mentality. But either because the fans do not believe the evidence presented to them in January, or because they do not fully understand it, many Dream SMP fans are still very attached to Mana and would be okay with seeing him return. This is also in spite of Mana barely being an online personality beforehand, only ever appearing in a single Twitch stream. Manatreed is an interesting case study on how thousands of people can become emotionally invested in something that none of them actually know about, just because a person that they respect said that they should be invested in them. Before I end this video, I'd like to give a channel update. I am back a bit early from my vacation from YouTube and social media, and to be honest, I never really even left social media anyway. I try to get this video out as quickly as I could, just to provide you guys with something while I work on bigger videos, and that might become a trend for this channel's future. I will make smaller, less edited videos about topics I find interesting, while working on bigger projects that will be released when I think they are ready. Thank you to all who have subscribed in the past few weeks. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers, which is crazy, and I will see you in the next video.